You can stop paying for Netflix now because I have a life story on TikTok that is way more interesting than anything you've ever watched on Netflix in the last like 5 to 10 years. There's this girl on here, her name is Gorgeous Doll, and she is in fact a gorgeous little doll. Gorgeous Doll meets this guy at high school. They fall in love, they become inseparable, and at some point they decide to have a baby, or she just falls pregnant. Either way, she's pregnant with their child. He is from a very good family, so things are looking up for them. They're looking like they're going to be this nice little family unit. She's excited, the future is looking bright. But then Doofus, high school sweetheart, he ends up going in a car with one of his friends who sounds like a right unsavoury character. This unsavoury character decides that night they're going to rob somebody, but they get caught. So high school sweetheart, he ends up going to prison. So now Gorgeous Doll, she's like alone in the world with this child who she now has to fend for and pay for, and she's worried. So she gets herself a job at a steakhouse and she moves, but then she falls out with her friends that she moves with, and she also finds out that the guy, the sweetheart, the one that's in prison, he's actually not the father of her child. They had been on a few breaks, and during one of these breaks she had gone and slept with this one guy this one time, and that is in fact how she'd ended up pregnant. So at this point she's moved, her baby daddy is in prison, who turns out not even to be her baby daddy. She's fallen out with all of her friends, she has no more friends in this new place that she is, and then she moves jobs and she ends up working at a strip club, but she's not stripping, she's just bartending at this point. And then she wins the lottery. Yes, legit. She wins the lottery. Not like Euro Millions, but like it was a big win. I did see somewhere that they said she won 1.5 million, but I don't know how much it actually was, but she does win the lottery. And then because she's sunken into this deep depression, because obviously she has no friends and she's gained all this weight from her pregnancy and she's had postnatal depression, decides that with this money she's going to try and make herself feel better. And so she takes herself to the Dominican Republic and she gets her whole body done. Like, the body is tea, the body is banging. This girl was already stunning before, but wow, she is looking like a Kardashian. She gets the whole lot done. Then she comes back and everyone's looking at her like, wow, you look so good. And she's like, yeah, actually, you should be one of the dancers. And she's like, yeah, I think I'd be good at that, but I'm not gonna do it here because I don't know. Goes and finds another strip club and she becomes a dancer there. First night, she smashes it. Like, everyone's asking for her. Every man in that club, they're like, I want her, I want Gorgeous Doll. Like, lining up, like, queue down the street. They want Gorgeous Doll. No one else will do. She is getting that money. Her bag on the way home, heavy. That's how much money this girl was getting. The other girls at the club, they're not happy because they're like, you literally just started. You're a newcomer. You should not be taking all this money home on your first night. And these mean girls, these horrible girls, they go and they speak to the club owner, and the club owner's like, sit on it and spin because that money is hers. He sends the mean girls on their merry way, but they don't give up. No, those mean girls, they go and like scheme in the corner, okay? And one of them, Regina George, we'll call her Regina George, like the main bully, she says, when Gorgeous Doll is leaving, I want you to go and jump her. So imagine that, on her first night, she's already been set up. She's got this big bag of money. She's looking like a bandit. She's earned it fair and square. But these mean girls, they're not having it. So Gretchen Wieners, when Gorgeous Doll is like leaving, she has her back turned, she goes over to her and bang, you know. Yeah, she does that. She is not about to let like Gretchen Wieners or Regina George or anybody like that like ruin her time there. So she keeps going and she just keeps making it rain. Like, she's just collecting those checks. She's no longer worried about like being this single mom. She spent her lottery winnings, I'm assuming, by this point, which again, I don't really know how it could have added up to 1.5 million if she spent it all, but then I could probably spend that quite easily. So maybe she did spend all of that, but she had no money, but now she has lots of money because she is very good at her job. Very good. At this point, I'm like, yes, get it, girl. Anyway, one night she's at the club, she's doing her thing, like she's got the lines out the door again, I suppose. And the guy who owns the club, he comes over and he says, Gorgeous Doll, somebody is here to see you. And she's like, who could it possibly be? And guess who it was? You won't believe it. I mean, I didn't know who he was, but he's a very famous rapper. So she's like, what? The Future? Yes, The Future. Anyway, the rapper comes in, he's obviously heard about her, and he just passes her like loads of money. And he's like, I want to keep seeing you. I guess this is how rappers do it. They give the girl they like lots of money. And not only does he give her money, he also buys her a watch. An AP watch. Again, I didn't know what that was. I had to Google it, but that is worth a lot of money. So he buys her a watch. Not only does he buy her a watch, he also does a song about her, a rap about her, and he mentions her, he references her. And so in her head, she's like, we're basically, you know, not together, but like there's a thing here. I mean, I would think that too. Imagine somebody putting you in a song. I'd be like, yeah, we're basically married. It's like the nicest thing anyone could ever do for you. Somebody did that for me once, but it was Chubby Cat. It wasn't a nice song, and I I wouldn't want to repeat that. But like a nice song about you, that's like the nicest thing anyone could ever do for you. So she basically thinks they're like together, or a thing, at least they're like hanging out together all the time. But then he invites her to a Christmas party and she's thinking, oh God, like this is a big deal. Now I'm going to meet like his family and his friends. So she brings her son and she also brings like her sister. But then they walk into the party and obviously her sister and whoever else is like, oh, this is basically my sister's like thing. But then he walks in with another woman. If I was a fan of Future, which I wasn't, I would no longer be listening to him. Gorgeous Doll did not deserve that behaviour. Can you block people on Spotify? If I can block people on Spotify, I will block him. Not that I think he would ever come on my playlist, but I would block him and I will be blocking him. So then that situationship is basically over. Good riddance, Future, you're not in her future, bye-bye. You're thinking like it's all over. No, then another like pro athlete, he invites her down to go and live in Miami and he just turns out to be an absolute freak, like a proper weirdo. Yeah, I'm interested to see what next series will bring. I guess we'll have to wait for that because I guess she's still living her life, so, but yeah. Keep keeping us entertained, Gorgeous Doll. No one in my real life would care about this, so I have to tell you guys.